And we are live streaming now. Sorry I jumped on a little bit late. Baron and I have been sitting here talking in the background, and we had to reshuffle some things because I have a huge echo in my earphones. And so I'm going to try and play with it while we're going. But anyway, welcome to Insights and Straight Talk. I also got a stuttering going on here today, right? This is my name. I shouldn't probably tell anybody my name the way I'm starting the show off. Rodd Duff, and I'm here with Baron. Baron, why don't you introduce yourself so I can put my.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Just so you know, your audio is kind of fluctuating. It's kind of coming in and out, at least on my end. I don't know how it sounds for everybody else, but it was kind of fluctuating in and out just a bit. So,
all right.
I don't know if you need to keep the mic closer. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, yet I am the yin to Rodd's yang. Rodd is
that's a good way to put it.
Couldn't say that. I mean, we are on more or less opposite sides of the political fence.
Absolutely.
But very much have in common this idea that putting people into this camp or that camp just misses out what I think most people are way more reasonable, way more in the middle, way more in the center than the two political parties represent. Like,
absolutely. Real quick, I'm going to make a request to the people listening. Okay, I want to see, is my sound or Baron's sound going out? I hate to break your stream there.
I think it's good you bring that up because you're at least on my end, you're breaking up. You're kind of coming in and out.
I don't want to spend the whole time talking about this, but I wanted to reach out to the people and see if somebody would chat, All right, so let's get back to it, Baron. So you are the yin to my yang, and you are the impression that everything. Nah, I can't be too harsh. Let's go back to the discussions of what you were introducing yourself, and I found it really interesting that you having such a high interest in science fiction, how that relates to some of the political or has touches and on the things that you believe politically or shape some things. Is that about?
Yes. Yeah. I just think because I've been exposed to fantastical ideas, and you got to step back, and a lot of science fiction that I read does it's trying to recreate societies in the future. Not all of them, but many of them. My favorite ones are the ones that build a very believable future society with all the social and political and economic and all of that. So it just makes you imagine something other than what we're all used to.
All right, and how do your political beliefs explain out and allow you to talk about or see the election, the past election? What are your thoughts on that? We'll start building on some of that.
So you're asking what my impressions of the last just this past election is?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh yeah, I'm not terribly surprised because people clearly wanted something different. Like they were.
You consider yourself a liberal progressive?
Yeah, I say
Excellent.
progressive liberal, but yeah,
Okay.
same thing. So yeah, dude, I'm like way progressive.
Yep.
You know, at the same time, again, I feel like my where I'm progressive is not where you know, the Democratic Party, for lack of any other, you know, it's the Republicans and the Democrats. One's supposed to be conservative, one's supposed to be liberal, right? And the combination of the two is going to create this very common sense approach to governing this gigantic country, right? That's how it's supposed to work. But I think you feel the same way that I do. The Democratic Party doesn't represent me any better than the Republican Party represents you. There's
in actuality, our running mates here for the running mate for the now elected president and vice president, neither one are Republicans. So I think the whole Republican Party is kind of coming more to the middle as the left, so to speak. The Democratic Party continue to move more to the left. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think overall that's a fair statement.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Yeah. But again, from my perspective, there seems to be a pretty equal, you know, an equal expression on the conservative side.
Yeah, I know the conservatives
want. You know what I mean? Like it kind of goes both ways. Neither one of us like the you know, the more extreme. You know, I'm hardcore liberal, and I can't stand what the extreme left does. I mean, it's just these people are brain dead. Some of them, you know, it's like, what are you thinking? You know, it's like, anyway, don't get me started on that. You know, but
yeah, well,
I mean,
there's a lot of people that would join that conversation.
Do you see some of that on the conservative side? I mean, you don't like the extremes on the conservative side either, right?
That's correct. I'm an independent. I lean a little left on some social issues and lean a little right on financial issues. But I don't understand the hard left right now. Anyway, the hard left at least influences heavily the whole party at the level, you know, of guiding us, whatever you want to call it.
Governing, yeah.
Whereas the hard right, I mean, I've heard of a couple names, Bad Boys or
Proud
Boys.
Proud Boys.
Proud Boys. And then now all of a sudden, I see this. Did you see that KKK march? Well, call it a march. There's like 6 people in it, but they were in black hoods and red Nazi signs.
Yeah, in Ohio, right?
That's what I'm afraid of when you talk about those two things. Talk about the hard left. I mean, the hard right. But if you look at what, let me ask you, if you look at the way Trump is putting his cabinet together, what are your concerns and what are your that might be a good idea? And I'll have some reaction to what you're saying.
Yeah, well, it probably won't surprise you that I you know, I do think some of his picks are just don't.
Every one of his picks are perfect every way, and don't say anything different. I'm just scared. Yeah, I will not disagree with what you're going to say about it right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like for instance, do you think? For instance, I think that Marco Rubio is a good pick for Secretary of State.
Of all the ones that are out there, I'm so glad you said that because I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And it's just some of the other picks seem to be, like, and this, this happens in politics, rewarding friends, rewarding people who were, good advocates of what you wanted to get across. So, it happens all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, some people just seem ill qualified. Like, who is it? Linda McMahon for like education secretary or something, and she just doesn't have any experience in education. Not necessarily a bad thing, particularly if what you want to do is kind of shake things up and get some new ideas. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something I think to be aware of. That
that kind of goes back to like what we're doing when we've been pressing is this watch party situation where somebody from one side, not totally agreeing on things, but are willing to listen back and forth. And that's where these kind of things should really, we should know more about the people that are being sought or looked for. Way more than we are, obviously. You agree with that, Ben?
You mean we the voters, or we
Yes.
or the Congress and how they?
Well, the Congress is a reflection of our activity within the political system. It's a direct reflection, right?
Yeah. It does not, and we as voters are right. We have to hold ourselves accountable for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been my whole frustration because we go round and round and round, and I look at the Republican Party, you look at the Democrat Party for the solutions that
not
needed.
really.
So that again,
I don't necessarily look to them for the best ideas. I mean, I think most people do this, right? They'll look at what somebody says and they'll say, I agree with that, or I don't.
Yeah.
So in your case, the Republican Party probably says, advocates more things that you agree with, and the Democratic Party advocates for things that I'm more inclined to agree with. But again, doesn't represent me, and I don't like, let's see, how should we do this? I'm going to listen to what the Democrats say and see if I think that's a good idea. Right?
No, what I mean by that, Baron, is there's opinion about each person that's going into cabinet right now. Wherever there's opinions about Trump. And what you're saying right there is evidence. I believe this is the right way to put it, is evidence that we are looking at one set of channels versus another set of channels, and whichever channel you listen to, or a couple of channels you listen to, you have one set of facts about the same subject with another set of totally different facts. So when you say that you're interested in and involved in the ideals of what the political results are coming from the Democratic Party, when you say that, that's what I get upset about. Not because you said it, but I get so upset because I literally listen to every channel. I mean, I go from I-24, the Jewish channel, Jerusalem channel. I go to CNN. I go to BBC. I don't watch the ABCs and the NBCs, but I do watch the Fox and the other shows. And what drives me nuts is that right now there's half the nation that thinks the other half, or at least the media says this, that the other half is completely nuts. How in the hell do you ever bring a guy like that on with 36 federal indictments when what's happening is the other side that you don't understand why is looking at it from a different view as a setup, as a political stunt by the opposing party. So that's where we got to start kind of talking to each other. You right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. At times, I think that the best way to arrive at more common solutions is to I don't know,
Hey.
almost stop listening to all.
Let me ask you this.
All traditional networks that all have their bias, right? They all have their bias, and right. So I don't know. You got to be able to discern what's hype and what's and what's actually happening without the opinion about it. You know what I mean?
It's all hype. Well, every news channel has their talking points.
Yeah.
And they go out and march what that party, whatever it is, whatever their talking points are, they march out and they look at that camera and they say, and then they say over and over and over again that every, you got a new news segment every hour, each one of the people are saying the same things, and they're not saying any depth into what they're saying or what the issue is. It's only about the talking point and how it benefits me or benefits them. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are there are lots of exceptions to that, but as a general rule, yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, give me an example.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before. The way elections are run.
You talking about free elections right now?
Talking about what?
You're talking about taking the money out of elections right now? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, we could get off into that, but
I definitely at some point want to get into it. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, but the main point I was trying to get to was that if the elections weren't, it's like it's become a sports spectacle. It's about this guy fighting this guy, and who says this and who says what, and in the meantime everybody's going. Everybody just tunes out until 2 weeks before the election. And then they start paying attention, and all they hear is "rah." What I mean? And everybody involved, including voters, again, we have to take some responsibility for why it's like this, because we're not demanding something better. But if there was just a more even-handed approach to the elections, and not being so much and obviously, we've talked about getting the money out. So there's not all this financial incentive from everywhere to run things the way they've been run. So we've talked briefly about publicly funded elections. Some people, that strikes them as just bizarre, but if you really think about it. If the money, if there was one thing we could do to have the biggest impact on politics in general, I think would be to get the money out of it. Have networks all have to promise, because they're our airwaves, right? We own those airwaves. The people demand you have X amount of time for every single candidate who's qualified to run. How you arrive at that?
That's already That's already a law technically. So are you saying they're only allowed to give so much airtime to each candidate being equal, and there are no commercials?
And I didn't get to the last part. You're still kind
And
of.
there are no commercials?
I don't think there should be commercials. No, I don't.
Yeah. But that's what you're advocating. What you're saying by taking the money out of the elections, you accomplish that by allotting 50 hours of airtime from this date to this date, equal for each candidate.
Correct. Yeah, level. I mean, everybody talks about let's level the playing field. That's a good idea, right? But it's the most unlevel playing field in society, right? Like you have to be either very rich yourself or know some very, very rich people or have some very, very wealthy donors and advocates who are going to want something in exchange. It's not illegal. It's it's just kind of the way it's run. Again, largely, we're not demanding something better.
Yeah, that's how our system's built too. It's not even a democracy; it's a democratic republic. So we have the duty to design our political systems, right? But it takes involvement to do that. Let me read a couple lists that came in. This slide. Let's see. Kate says this live session feels like a master class in futuristic thinking and real world importance. Great show, positive impact. How do you? Oh, this is a subject I promised to get to, and we got to get to it. How do you think AI could reshape elections in the next decade? Why don't you take that? That's in it. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think AI is.
Thought about that?
What's that?
Have you thought about that? I mean, AI is going to be affecting elections. I never. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just because I'm a science fiction fan, but it's already here. And I think AI is like a number of these technological things that, it's got a tremendous benefit on the one hand, and it has tremendous potential for misuse on the other, right? Again, I think if it's up to most people, I use the word demanding, maybe not like that, like, vote with your pocketbook kind of a deal, right? Like go to sites that have an even-handed approach to information and start bailing on the ones that do not. If enough people did that, what do you think would happen? Everybody would go, hey, wait a minute, we're losing viewers like, by the droves. What are we going to do? It's like, where are they going? Well, they're going to, again, somebody could fill that gap, and AI could help spur that, because it's going out and just trying to get you the information that you're searching for,
right.
So that's why.
So I was thinking about this in AI and expanding it a little bit even beyond the politics, because the real fear people have, at least people like us aging, are golden years or gray years. Well, actually, you don't have very much. Yeah, you've got some gray in your face. You hit you. There it is. So
if I wasn't dyeing my hair, I'd probably look like Santa Claus by now.
Oh, no doubt. At least one of the elves.
No, I want to eventually.
You threw me a softball. I had to do that. I would be ashamed of myself if I didn't have some fun with that. Let me read a couple more of the text here. I got one on my phone that said the real estate tonight AI is really important. Dr. Show, great question. I would like to know as well AI and election. How much of today's political turmoil do you think sci-fi writers predicted accurately? Oh, that's a dang good question. That's a really good question. I like that. Because if you look at shows, you look at TV, science fiction movies, and all that, Star Treks, and that, whatever we produced in film, we've actually are on the way to. I mean, we're on the way to flying cars. I mean, all that it has had an effect. What are your thoughts on what they're talking about with the sci-fi writers predicting what's happening? Because I've heard this a lot that things in the past have been predicted about coming up. You know, any thoughts on that, Baron?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been reading mostly science fiction for, I read for pleasure, and I love storytelling. I'm just a huge fan of story. I want to do my own short films.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Yeah, and so I've seen throughout the years. I probably started reading pretty steadily when I was in my early 20s, and have read steadily ever since. So I've seen a lot of things predicted, and it actually happens all the time. Eventually the technology will catch up with the ideas.
Well, my thought, and we've talked about this before, but my thought is, sorry, I'm just battling this damn microphone. People are afraid of AI. But people my age and so forth, maybe down into their 40s, maybe, are afraid of AI. Let me use an example. I remember when the internet, and mobile phones, and all that came out, and aging people that were my age then, became isolated. They 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 were not part of society, and a lot of people became depressed and so forth and so on. That plus what people are concerned about now is, okay, so if the robots are going to do everything, how what are we in the middle, the great middle class? What did you the what was your
majority middle?
The majority middle. What we're afraid of illegal aliens coming in and stealing our jobs. What if it was all robots and nobody could make anything? As I understand it, and one of the reasons I want so much and drive so much for us to have these watch parties and take control, take over our government, take it back. As we all know, America is the leader of the world, so technically we're talking about the whole world. But I believe in the AI, it's coming and coming and coming, and it's coming more on a linear, it's not slowing down, it's speeding up, right? My opinion is, and I always talk about a utopia. If we control the government, by the time utopia really starts to come, then we will have a great system to, you don't even have to work. Everybody's going to have money. Everybody's going to be taken care of, medicine, schooling, on and on and on. You can work if you want to, but you don't have to. That sounds socialist, but not in the way you would think. I'm really excited about the future, and that's why I'm pushing so much to get people to talk. And people, I just knocked on my desk, and the dog's got a So if you're talking, my apologies. I got two show hats. In my opinion, that we have utopia, but we got to earn it. I mean, literally, we owe it to our founding fathers for this document they set up, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's astonishing that 2.5 centuries later, this is still the best system that human beings have ever constructed. Right?
Absolutely.
It's got lots of flaws, and it depends. It depends on people doing the right thing. But
well, that's my point.
It's still the best system ever created.
It is the best system ever created by far. Well, maybe the Greeks in there, but it is the best system ever created. But the problem with the system is Americans, through past work and working under this system, have become basically the wealthiest people in the world. The world average is like not even seen. Of course, people aren't that way. But what happens when you get comfortable is you stop looking and you stop participating, and you just, because we're all busy. But you know what? Every Sunday during football season, 90,000 people may be in any one of the stadiums across the way to watch a free. And here in Chicago, it snowed today, by the way. It sucks in California. Anyway, I see people gathering. So it's our job to interest people into participating, because they do it. They go to a Bears game, even though this isn't a good year, but that 80,000 people will be in the stadium, and it's 28 degrees, and after the game's over, they get the benefit out of it. If we have a political system that would get that kind of 20, 30 people every Sunday, in different groups, when that's over, you have a total and complete benefit.
Yeah.
See, how smart I am, Aaron.
We got to do it, man. You got to establish the NFL for politics now.
Yeah, I think that Watch Party is a pretty good name. I want to start. We've actually sent out several, and that was Barbie's idea, by the way. Sent out. She hasn't come by and said hi to you lately, has she?
No, not yet.
So, what is it? President's Day? I think it's President's Day. We're pushing. I've already started sending out some information about it. But on President's Day, we want to have the National Watch Party. It's not going to accomplish anything because, one, I don't know what's going on. But you got to kind of design that. We've got to kind of start putting stuff together for that, because I want my grandkids to have the utopia that AI is created at the hands of the people of the United States. I don't want them to have not utopia that's designed or AI that's designed through the political state, because they're working for their own best interest. And you're impressed. Is our government doing anything? In your opinion, is our government officials doing enough things for their populace?
You mean just at large?
Yeah, what's their job?
What's the job?
The job of our politicians is to do the political bidding to best benefit the people that are under their skew, right?
Yeah. So on a local level, it's probably a lot better, and that's something we might get into talking about later. A way to localize things, like the states. I mean, that was one of the geniuses of the states. Is like you got to have national rules of the road,
100%.
right? But then all the states can experiment, right? We've kind of lost this. Will to let's just experiment. Like I always used to wonder when somebody proposes a policy. Let's say let's try this for 5 years, right? So if it doesn't work, then it's gone. But if it does work, then you can expand on it, fix what doesn't work, that kind of thing. Like if anyway. So having a lot of people just interested in it. I think that's at the key of it is people finding their own information, and AI could really help in this regard because it's personalized, right? If you're like searching, if you're searching on an AI platform like Perplexity or ChatGTBS, whatever the hell it's called, right? It will give you information based on how you searched, and then you can refine it and stuff like that. So it has the potential to be very personalized, and then every individual can follow the information that they find, and I think that will help a lot. And instead of getting what's trending, what's getting the most likes, and that's usually confrontation, right? Confrontation always gets the most hits and engagement, and that needs to be moderated.
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize everybody today. We're having a great show, and Baron, you're just bringing in insights that I don't believe a lot of people have thought about. And we're going to continue to struggle through this. But I've just been texted by a few people that my sound, not your sound, my sound is very bad, choppy or something. So, Baron, is it aggravating to listen to, Baron?
Well, it's just going like that, right? So it's at least happening in a regular period, a regular pulse. So I can mostly understand you, but yeah, it ain't ideal.
Okay, here's a good I can't do anything. I don't know why it happened, but I think in the setup of the show, I hit a wrong show. I've got a good text here from Mario Tunguzi. Do you believe the rebirth of a nation could lead to a better global collaboration? So, do you believe in one world government, or that they're trying to create a one world government there?
Not so much.
Okay. So what are your thoughts about what he's saying here as far as better collaboration globally works?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like anything else, it's got tremendous value and tremendous risk for abuse. So, like everything else, it depends on the people who are implementing these things. Who is it? Who are the individuals who are collaborating, right? If whatever, Germany has the best interest for Germans at heart, and the United States has the best interest of America at heart, and they collaborate on something, right? With integrity, none of this hanky-panky going on, that benefits everybody.
What do you think about you talked about some of the cabinet members not being excuse me, qualified, and our nation has a constitution submitted by our founding fathers, right? In that Bill of Rights and in that whole bringing that nation together and starting this nation up, do you believe that the original concept of a farmer, a doctor, whoever comes in to take a position somewhere because the country's given them so much and they're giving back. That's kind of the farmer, doctor, so forth and so on. This kind of goes back to your not free, take the money out of politics, out of elections. Since our founding fathers had the concept of people coming in for 2 years or 4 years, kind of like going to the military for a 4-year term, and then you're done, serve your country. In Jerusalem, Israel, sorry, they serve in the military at a certain point. You believe that the rhetoric about not being qualified in some of these things is going to hurt? Well, it is the old system that started and built our country and then was captured by politicians, lifelong politicians. Do you think that system is dead?
The old system or the current system?
I've thought a lot. We need to get rid of all the politicians, that are wrong politicians on both sides of the aisle and all that, and then have election somebody come in, and if we do the right job, they continue their term. Whatever the rules are that are already set up. If they don't, we better right back out. That's what I talk about being involved. I believe, but I can already hear arguments to promoting new people coming in every couple of terms because they're going to claim that today's society and system is far beyond far beyond what the common person could handle in the government. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, the system as designed depends on the participation of the people who elect the representatives. And when you think about it, it's not too hard to understand how what seemed to work pretty well, but still had plenty of problems and corruption and conniving and headbutting, right? People have this glorified idea about, how great it used to be, back when the Constitution was, people are people, right? Human beings are human beings, but they had the framework, but I'm sure even the founding fathers couldn't even imagine the scope and size of the country. And in some regards, it's almost a miracle that we get along as well as we do for, such a huge country, so much, so many resources, so many ideas,
I think
remarkable, really,
I think you're right. But I also think that, God, this damn sound. This is such a good. I'm so sorry, Barry. This is such a great show, and I just screwed it up. But we'll figure it out somehow.
Bad Rod.
Exactly. Barbie has texted me multiple times, chewing my ass out. Barbie.
Oh, now your video is kind of.
Oh, now I'm starting to freeze.
Now your video is freezing just a little bit here and there. You're okay now.
Oh man. All right, guys. I was wanting to go an hour. Baron, why don't we go another? Because this is just falling apart technically. Um, all right. So let's do it this way. Baron, give us a little more about what your beliefs are, and let's try and close this down in the next 5 minutes or so, and I'll say goodbye to everybody.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sorry.
yeah, I think what we've talked about many times is if you could get the population to be way more interested and curious, like about how things work and how things can be made together. It's not like you got to start like another political party, but
No,
just
we
kind
got to
of
have two though.
yes, yeah,
At
we got
least
to work within what we got to work with. But if more and more people, especially felt not just safe and comfortable expressing their own ideas about things, but that was encouraged, like you're doing with this show. You're encouraging some debate, and you're not expecting, right? Like I'm sure you're like me. I don't expect anybody to agree with me or think my ideas are any good. But when we keep talking about things, then there is. We're kind of like an organic AI.
Hold on, Baron. It's starting. You're now echoing.
Now my audio is glitching.
Okay, that's better. That's better. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Sorry for
it's like that. Things like this uh, get more and more people, because I think don't you think that if this was more common in the the public marketplace, that people would go, yeah, I got some good
well,
ideas, and I'm not I'm not afraid, I'm not shut down behind it, I'm not
right.
feel
I,
safe.
I think that the media and the politicians want to, at all costs, keep us from coming together in masses. Divide and conquer. Right. That's how kings and everybody's always done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it quite like that. The net effect is that we're divided. I don't think people are like intentionally trying to divide us.
Oh, they
That's the net effect. All they're trying to do is whatever, get power, get wealth, get prestige, and again, there's a fair amount of people who are genuinely trying to do a good job, for the people they represent. In fact, I would say, like the country, at least half of the Congress is actually genuinely interested in helping society get better.
That's an interesting way you put that. Society gets better. That's true. I lost my train of thought there for being this hard ass. Um, my belief is that people come to the government, come to politics for the reason that our founding fathers want it perceived. That system perceived. You come from the field, you come from the office buildings, you come from whatever to serve your country. Um, what I believe is you come in and then you're developed through the political system, and that's where people start to get greedy. That's where politics, lifelong politics, is a really, really bad thing.
Yeah, in very many cases. In some cases, it's a good thing. Like, for instance, like governors or senators who keep getting elected in their state over and over and over again. That's a good thing, right?
As long as they're doing a good job for
Yeah.
90% of the people. Because whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or an independent,
No, I'm an
you
independent.
should agree on 90% of the day in, day out stuff.
Yeah. I'm absolutely independent because neither party does a good job of representing what I would like to see my representatives do.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna cut the suffering off right now. Baron, we've got a couple of other subjects that we want to talk about, but you and I need to get back to this political breakdown again because we only scratched the surface. What you and I always talk about. Baron is a good friend of mine for a long time, and he was actually introduced to me by my oldest friend, Joe Heath. He's also a Californian, also in the video, this kind of business, and Art Baron has since designed a couple of book covers for me, and some other writing he's helped out. As you know, I'm going to be querying a book pretty soon. So I love you guys. We had at one point 700 people here on the show. We've been holding around 400 views. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for the great questions. How do you collection? Okay. Now somebody asked the question in reverse. How do you think elections are going to affect science fiction? Right. Look, you got a couple of authors on. But in the meantime, I love you all. Thank you so very much. My name's Rodd Duff. My counterpart is producer Barbie somewhere out there in the atmosphere. And the show is called Insights and Straight Talk. You can visit the YouTube channel at Rodd Duff 1939. And that's our YouTube channel. Our website is www.roddduff.com all together. And Rodd is, how many D's does Rodd have in it, Baron? 2 D's.
How many F's?
2 F's.
2 D's, 2 F's.
Yeah, and I got like RODD, my middle initial D, and then my last name TUF. My parents really wanted to screw with my name, I think. All right, that's all for today, guys. Baron, say hi, and we'll talk soon. Love you guys. It's going to take a second to go off here. And